Welcome back. Tracking your data. The Wall Street Journal out with a new piece this morning. Tech firms are spying on you. In a pandemic, governments say that's okay. The paper identifies dozens of local governments using data from smaller companies that market tracking information to keep an eye on people as businesses reopen. Joining me right now is Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, this does not sound good.
No, good morning, Maria. It does not sound good at all. It is basically hundreds of local municipalities and cities and the 50 states violating the Fourth Amendment right to privacy by surveilling the movements of people without search warrants. Now, surveillance is a search, meaning if the government wants to follow you for whatever reason, they have to go to a judge and present probable cause of crime. The only other way to follow somebody is a FISA warrant. This has nothing to do with FISA or with foreign terrorism or an allegation of foreign terrorism. But for the governments to license the use of apps from private entities that will follow you for the government, and then the government to accumulate that information, no matter how beneficial or salutary the government claims its behavior is. The government says it's doing this because it wants to know where people congregate and where they're close to each other, even though we're on the downside of the COVID slope. This government simply can't do that, and it can't get away with it. But Maria, unless someone can show that they were spied on and they were harmed, they can't even get into court to challenge it.
Well, this is a dangerous, slippery slope, that's for sure. And, you know, earlier I had on Wilbur Ross, and I talked to him about how these 4 Chinese telecom companies sold technology to U.S. carriers over decades that gave the Chinese Communist Party access to government, corporate, personal data, conversations, all proprietary information flowing through those networks. And it happened for 2 decades because they sold us this equipment. And these companies trade on the New York Stock Exchange, by the way. So we're actually funding it. It's absolutely extraordinary. And then you've got the conservatives. Yeah, go ahead, Judge.
You know, you're right, and the Secretary is right. The government's job is to protect our rights. One of those rights that it is supposed to protect is the right to privacy. In the case that you and Secretary Ross talked about, the government itself permitted our most vicious and dangerous enemy to violate our privacy. In this case that the Wall Street Journal has written about this morning, the government itself is the actual violator of the privacy. So the culture in government is do anything you can to avoid the Fourth Amendment.
But we're also talking about censorship this morning, Judge. NBC News Verification Center. Who knew they had a verification center? They're forced to backtrack after allegedly pushing Google to ban ads on a conservative website. This report says that the tech giant planned to demonetize both Zero Hedge and The Federalist over what they're calling racist content. But NBC had alerted Google to The Federalist themselves. So it's basically NBC trying to put The Federalist out of business. Google reviewed the issue and stated this on Twitter. The Federalist was never demonetized. We worked with them to address issues on their site related to the comment section. So now we're looking at the comment section. It's been removed. We consider this matter resolved and no action will be taken. But, I mean, taking away the comment section, what do you think? Real quick, Judge, we've got to jump.
You know, look, I think that all censorship is repugnant to the First Amendment, even private censorship, even non-government censorship. But the president is right. NBC is in the business of silencing those that disagree with it by tarnishing them with the brush of racism.
And Google is so big that it can do it. There you go. Judge Andrew Napolitano, always a pleasure to see you, sir. Thank you.